Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the function of the economy in brief because in our syllabus, that is in business environment paper, this is very important and that is the part of the syllabus. That is if you remember in BBA 4th business environment paper, we have to study about the capitalism, socialism and mixed economy. But before we discussing knowing about what actually economy, or in other words we can also say economic system, we cannot understand about capitalism and socialism and mixed economy, because we must know what is capitalism, what is socialism and what is mixed economy. So before going on that topic, we must have understanding in brief about the functioning of the economy and how actually we define the term economy and economic system, because economy or economic system, mind it, I am again repeating, economy and economic system both are used interchangeably sometimes, most of the times better to say. And this is also very important to understand for the students of economics, commerce, business management, and even the people who are educated and conscious politically, socially or economically, that we often talk about that how our economy is performing. We talk about the development of our society. We talk about how the world economy is performing. We talk about the GDP, we talk about the industrial activities. So these all things actually are related to actually economic activities, and these all things combinedly actually form the system, that is what we say economy. So let us we try to understand and simply how can we define what do we mean by economy, arthvyavastha, kya hota hai? What do we mean by economy? So simply we can define economy, that is in any country, in any society, how the resources of the society can be utilized in terms of production, consumption and distribution of the resources. Because we know, and I would like to remind, just try to understand, just memorize, try to remember, what do we mean by economics? And economics, there are so many definitions of economics, but just forget about those all things. The general concept of economics is that how to administer, utilize the limited resources of the society. And economics tries to answer the three fundamental economic problems that is faced by any society, any country on this earth, in this world. That is what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. So how these three economic fundamental problems can be resolved. And for this, we must have system, which is also called economic system, or sometimes we also say that is economy. So the question is that we must have the system so that we can fulfill the needs and wants of the people, in other words. Now the question is that if we talk about the economy and its functioning, here in this particular example, as you can see on the blackboard, that we are taking two-sector model. Two-sector model means when we talk about the economic system or economy, there are various components of the economy or economic system, various components, elements which are responsible for managing, producing, distributing so far as the various types of goods or commodities, and that is what actually is produced by utilizing the resources of the society. So in this example, we are taking only two main components who are mainly chiefly responsible for functioning of the economic system or economy, that is business firms, organizations, or whatever we can say in general, companies, business enterprises and households. We can also understand in better, in broader way, house, society, or in general the entire, the country or whatever. Households, we people. So you can see in this particular example, there is the how actually there is the flow, there is the functioning of the economy. For example, as we know that as a student of business administration, that the business firms require different types of inputs. different types of inputs. Inputs we are knowing, we are aware, man, machine, materials, different types of things. All those things which are used to produce any particular type of good and service actually are regarded inputs. So business firms purchase inputs, and who actually are the suppliers in the economy? That is definitely society, households. For example, the very good example is that the business firms require land, business firms require manpower, and the households, the society, the people of the society, of the country, of the economy are the major supplier. So just to understand, the business firms receive inputs, different types of inputs from the household. That is how actually we can see in the arrow, this household is actually supplying different types of inputs to business firms, and in return, as we can say, that the business firms actually is providing income to the households. Because if we are the workers, if we are the employees in any particular organization, in return we get salary, and so on. We can simply understand. And in economic sense, in economics, these are also, you can say, the factors of production: land, labor, etc., and capital also. But in detail we can further actually study about all those things. So the households actually provides different types of services, rendered services, inputs, and in return business firms actually provides income. That is simple concept. And when again the business firms actually uses these inputs, different types of inputs, and they produce the goods or commodities, they manufacture the goods or commodities, and that's those goods or commodities again business firms provide to the consumers, to the people of the society. That is what here households. So inputs are being utilized by the business firms, and the final goods, output, that is what we also say, the goods and services, that is provided by the business firms to the households. And in return, what business firms actually receive, that is the expenditure made by the households, by the people, by the consumers on the goods and services, that is in terms of, here we are showing the profit. So as you can see, and because the two sectors means the one sector is the business firms and the households. So how the simply economic system actually works? In this example, we are trying to understand the very simple manner, that is, there is the exchange process. That is when we expense on any goods or commodities, that is the expense, that is the expenditure for the people, but that becomes profit or income, and vice versa. So when we buy something from the producers, from the business organizations, we make expenditure, and when they purchase something, then they also make expenditure. That is what we can say here in the input. So whenever we talk about the functioning of the economy and how can we understand with this simple diagram, so mind it, that is economy means that how the different types of economic activities are taking place, and who are the main actually leader, or that is to say the different components of the economic system. So when we talk about the two sectors, business firms, households, we can also add here government, foreign investors also, but that may be for further discussion when we have to discuss about the three sectors, four sectors. So now before actually I would like to again draw your attention from where we started, that what is actually economy, or in other words we can also say economic system. So when we talk about the economy is doing well or not, it means what is the GDP, what is the employment, what is the industrial output, and all those things. That is what we mean. And so far as now we have to understand that what are the different types of economic system or economy. So when we elaborate and we proceed our discussion further, so basically economic system are actually called there are two types of economic system, that is mainly capitalism, and second one is socialism. These are main two types of economic system, or in other words, when we say the economy. Again, I would like to say that sometimes this is also called economic system. So please do not get confusion, economy or economic system. Or economic system are mainly of two types, capitalism and socialism, Pujibad and Samajwad. These are the so common terms, we all are knowing it. Even the uneducated people also know these general terms, Samajwad and Pujibad. So now the question is that we also talk about the role of the government in our country, in our economy. That what is the main role of the government if we talk about the performance of the economy. For that, you must know what type of economic system the country has adopted. Otherwise, if we are not, for example, you are the students or any candidate always talk about there is no job in the economy, and there is huge scarcity of the government jobs. Why? Because you must understand the government is in a position to produce many jobs in the government sector, in the public sector or not. You must first understand what type of economic system you have. If suppose we have the capitalism, then we are not in a position to blame our government that there are no many jobs in the government sector, because if any society or any country that has adopted this particular economic system, definitely there is very less scope of the government jobs. So as we know that in most of the economies of the world actually are the capitalistic society, and most of the countries have adopted in today's world the capitalism economic system. So that's why the determination of the role of the government actually mainly depends on what type of economic system, and India actually is a capitalism, or better to say on the basis of this particular when we combine capitalism and socialism, that is called mixed economy. So mixed economy is not the purely, and it has not its own existence, but this mixed economic system has been formulated on the basis of these two combinations, the capitalism and socialism. When we combine the features of capitalism, Pujibad, features of socialism, then we have the mixed economy. For example, we have the mixed vegetables, and when we mix of the different things, that is the mix. So mix has not its own origin and its own actually any characteristics, but it depends that what actually we are mixing, how many features of the capitalism and how many features of the socialism we are actually putting and formulating. So it depends on the government. So now I would like to now conclude that mainly there are two types of economic system, capitalism and socialism, and when we combine these two, we talk about the mixed economy, and the India is a mixed economy. Most of the countries also adopted, but the mixed economy has completely also become like capitalism. If you see further that the inclination and the mixed economy is actually what? Mainly the mixed economy has also become completely capitalism. That is what we have to understand. And when we say the capitalism, now we are in a position to blame our government, to discuss that what is the extensity and what is the limitation of the role of the government. And if we are knowing that our economy is actually capitalistic society in which we are living, so definitely we can discuss about the role of the government. So now I am going to conclude, and what we have discussed, again I would like to brief economic system and economy, how it works, and there are mainly two types of economic system, capitalism, socialism, and finally on the basis of these two we have the mixed economy. For detail you can contact and in the next session or class. Thank you very much. Have a good